Okay, so let's unpack this. Have you ever experienced a connection with someone that feels, well, undeniably profound? Something that goes beyond ordinary friendship, maybe even deeper than romance, a relationship that truly shakes your very soul awake. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into the intense and, yeah, often challenging world of spiritual connections. We're focusing specifically on this powerful concept of twin flames and particularly what happens when these really resonant bonds face separation. We've explored a fascinating stack of insights from sources like Loner Wolf, Twin Flames Universe, Dating Scout, Pure Twin Flames, and Mom Junction. And we're ready to share the most impactful nuggets of knowledge with you.
Absolutely. And our mission for this deep dive is, well, it's to help you not just to find these connections, but to really grasp why they can be so challenging, what to look for when they seem to pull apart, and maybe most importantly, how you can leverage these intense experiences as really profound opportunities for personal awakening and growth.
Mm.
We're definitely aiming for those aha moments today. So you leave not just informed, but maybe, yeah, a little bit transformed.
Okay, let's start broad. Let's kick things off with a foundational idea from Loner Wolf, and this one might surprise you a bit. It's the notion that every single relationship you have in your life, romantic, platonic, even those fleeting ones, is at its core spiritual.
Hmm, interesting. Every single one.
Yeah, that's what the source suggests. Each person offers something of, quote, spiritual significance. They teach you lessons like the value of generosity, patience, or self-respect.
Okay, I see. And what's truly fascinating there is how, while all relationships might carry some spiritual weight, some just seem to have a deeper impact on us, right? At
Yeah,
that soul level.
exactly.
So think of tuning forks. Some people just naturally resonate on a similar frequency, and
Yeah.
that creates this really harmonious, deep connection. These are the people who positively challenge us, who really excavate the hidden diamonds buried within us.
Mm.
They often operate on the same energetic wavelength, maybe part of our soul family, as Lone Wolf puts it.
Right. And our sources actually identify several types of these deeper connections. First, you've got karmic relationships. These are often seen as opportunities to resolve old patterns, maybe unfinished business, even from past lives sometimes.
The karmic ones, they can be intense.
Yeah, they can bring challenges, drama, and they tend to end once that lesson, whatever it is learned. The goal is sort of personal liberation. Then you have soul friends. These are the people who just get you on a really profound level, sharing values,
I'll achieve
understanding
your tribe.
totally. And soul teachers, these could be anyone, honestly. Even someone you meet briefly who just drops some profound spiritual guidance.
Hmm.
And of course, soulmates. Now, these can be romantic or platonic. They help us become the best version of ourselves possible. There's often that feeling of deep recognition, like you've known them forever, operating on that same wavelength again.
Okay, so that naturally leads to the big question, right? If there are all these different types of deep spiritual connections,
Hmm.
where do twin flames fit into this picture?
Good question.
Well, our sources offer a really powerful definition. They describe twin flames as two sides of the same soul brought together by the universe. Or, even get this, one soul split into two bodies.
Wow.
Yeah. They act as incredibly intense catalysts for growth. They're often called mirror souls.
Okay, but here's where things get, well, really interesting, and it's a crucial distinction for our deep dive today. Because while lots of spiritual seekers dream of finding this, super special person, Loner Wolf offers a pretty stark word of warning.
Oh, what kind of warning?
Well, the article explicitly says it's, quote, not here to enable any of this false outsourcing of one's happiness onto an idealized other. It cautions that the whole twin flame concept can be problematic
Problematic how?
by encouraging what it calls a toxic narrative of one rare person out there who is literally the other half of your soul, which you can imagine places much pressure and burden of expectation on another person.
Right, like you're incomplete without them.
Exactly, and Loner Wolf emphasizes a core truth. You and your soul are innately whole, all on your own.
Okay, connecting this to the bigger picture. That perspective is absolutely crucial, isn't it? It really underscores that true happiness and wholeness come from within.
Mm-hmm.
And other people, well, they just have the effect of mirroring that back to you, what's already inside. And this also helps us clearly distinguish a healthy twin flame connection, even if it's intense, from a codependent relationship.
Which is very different.
Very different.
Mm-hmm.
Codependency is based on a need for validation, control, or security.
Mm-hmm.
It's often characterized by a lack of boundaries, maybe a deep fear of abandonment. A true twin flame relationship, even with all its challenges, should ultimately feel supportive and empowering, always
Yeah.
kind of pointing you back towards your own inner strength, your own wholeness.
Right. So given that incredible intensity, that transformative nature, it really begs the question, why would twin flames ever separate? It sounds incredibly painful. And yeah, our sources absolutely confirm that it is. They describe it as potentially the most painful stages that the two souls can experience.
Yeah, it's a tough one. But the core insight here, according to Pure Twin Flames, isn't just about, say, not being ready. It's more that the separation itself acts like a spiritual forge.
A forge.
Yeah, where each twin individually has to temper the weaknesses, the unresolved stuff, that would otherwise shatter their ultimate union if they came together too soon.
Ah, okay. So it's necessary work.
Exactly.
That's
It's less a punishment, more like a profound individual assignment that's necessary for future alignment. And this often involves that dynamic people talk about, the twin flame runner and the twin flame
yeah,
chaser.
yeah. Push pull.
hmm And those roles can even reverse sometimes. The runner is the one who postpones or avoids making progress, maybe out of fear, while the chaser embraces and surrenders to the journey, often kind of pushing them into deeper self-exploration because of the runner's actions.
Okay, so our sources outline several key reasons why this challenging separation phase happens. First one, timing. Simple as that sometimes. It's not the right time.
Just bad timing.
Or maybe one or both partners may have met too soon, before they've gathered the inadequate life experiences needed for the relationship to truly work long term. Second, growth imperative. Basically, more profound growth is needed.
The universe saying, hold on, you've got homework to do.
Pretty much. It serves as a phase for significant spiritual growth and development, where you're kind of forced to confront your worst traits, fears, and insecurities. The mirror effect is strong then. Third, inner deficiencies. This is a big one. Often cited is a lack of self-love.
Ah, that makes sense.
Yeah, which can manifest as codependency or jealousy. Because of that mirroring effect, your unaddressed self-love issues essentially become their issues too.
So union is impossible until you do your inner work. It's like this profound feedback loop.
Exactly. There can also be emotional or spiritual immaturity. One partner's growing, the other is maybe feeling stagnant. And finally, lessons and barriers. Sometimes maybe you've learned the necessary lesson for this particular phase or lifetime.
The assignment is complete for now.
Right. Or other times there are real tangible barriers, things like physical distance, language barriers, background differences, diverse faiths, or sociocultural demarcations that just prevent immediate union.
Okay, so what does this actually feel like? This separation experience. The sources describe it as, well, painful emotionally, physically, and spiritually, often leaving this pervasive, soul-deep sadness.
That sounds heavy.
It is. You might find yourself feeling confused, disoriented, anxious, inadequate, lonely, isolated, frustrated, maybe just emotionally overwhelmed. Some specific symptoms mentioned include an intense longing, like a part of you is missing, and a feeling of emptiness,
Wow.
also unexplained mood swings and emotional upheaval, and just that profound sense of the separation blues.
Wow. Okay, but despite that really profound pain, here's what's truly remarkable and kind of hopeful. Even in separation, the connection between twin flames persists, often in pretty intriguing ways.
How so?
Well, you might experience really vivid dreams. The sources say twin flames often meet in dreams as your higher selves connect with more ease, like the baggage of the physical world.
Like a non-physical meeting place.
Sort of. And there's also this intriguing phenomenon of twin flame telepathy.
Telepathy? Really?
Yeah, the idea is that the more your energies harmonize, even on a part, the more you might feel one another's feelings and hear one another's thoughts, even across distances.
Okay, that's fascinating. And this often leads to powerful synchronicities and signs, right? Where the universe conveys that they are on the right path.
Exactly, those little nudges from the universe.
And it's not just random stuff. Could be things like seeing the same numbers repeatedly, like 111,
Ah, the angel numbers.
right? And in numerology, 1 and 11 is often seen as a sign that your thoughts are manifesting quickly, that
Right.
you're aligning with your higher purpose. It's like a powerful signal the universe is responding to your inner state. You might even have an awareness of their thoughts of you, like feeling their energy or even their physical presence sometimes, which can be incredibly comforting, apparently. It could assure you that this separation is not the end.
A little reassurance.
Definitely. And as the separation period starts nearing its end, there's often a strong anticipation of twin flame union. This feeling is often accompanied by an increased sense of compassion towards yourself and others, and being filled with a sense of forgiveness and peace. like you're clearing the way.
This all sounds incredibly intense and honestly potentially overwhelming. So, if separation is a necessary part of this journey for some, how do you navigate it without completely losing yourself in the pain?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It really is, and our sources are very clear on this. You can't use logic and reason to talk them around.
Nope, no convincing the runner.
And you can't just sit and wait for it to happen either. The focus absolutely, definitively shifts inward.
Right. Which naturally leads us to ask, okay, what not to do during this phase? What are the pitfalls?
Good point.
The sources highlight some common mistakes, like excessive chasing, trying too hard to get them back.
That can push them further away, right?
Exactly. It can push the other twin further away. Also, neglecting personal growth because you're so focused on getting your partner back. Another one is letting ego take over, refusing to acknowledge your own part in the dynamic, your own mistakes.
Oh, yeah. The ego.
It gets in the way.
Yeah.
Also, trying to force reunion too soon before the necessary growth has happened. And of course, feeling overwhelmed by fear or constantly doubting the twin flame reunion. These actions really hinder the very growth that the separation is actually meant to facilitate.
Okay, so if those are the things to avoid, what should you be actively doing during this really challenging phase? The overwhelming consensus from all our sources is pretty clear. You need to intensely focus on your own growth, specifically your personal, emotional, and spiritual growth and development. That's the main task.
Absolutely. And this means making a conscious choice, really, to fill your own cup first. Prioritizing self-love, self-care, and commitment to your healing. It's non-negotiable.
Right.
It involves identifying the core issue. What patterns keep showing up? What needs healing in you? Fostering compassion for yourself, because this is hard work.
Yeah.
And finding healthy outlets for your grief. Things like spending time in nature, practicing yoga or meditation, or maybe engaging in creative activities.
It's not about pretending the pain isn't there.
Not at all. It's about processing it constructively. And this isn't about thinking you're a bad person either. It's about confronting those uncomfortable parts of ourselves, our insecurities, our unhealed wounds, the stuff we often keep hidden, even from ourselves.
Your shadow work.
Exactly. The twin flame separation kind of acts like a spotlight on these areas, strongly inviting us to heal them.
Yeah, think of it like a deep spiritual workout. Our sources suggest you can use positive affirmations, things like, I am strong, I am adored and cherished, I am complete, just to rebuild that inner confidence.
Reprogramming those negative thoughts.
Right. Also, meditate. To get in tune with your higher self, access that inner guidance. Some people even find it helpful to use crystals and gemstones to help with energy balance, support their journey.
Let our tools resonate.
Exactly. And importantly, don't go it alone. Actively get guidance and support from a trusted community, spiritual mentors, therapists, whoever can help.
Yeah. Ultimately, it's really about transforming the pain into purpose. Remember that separation is meant to make you stronger. That's a key takeaway. It serves as a kind of healing chrysalis for unresolved pain. It activates that shadow self, those hidden aspects we need to integrate to become whole.
So it's an invitation.
It really is. An invitation to become the better version of you, to discover your true needs, separate from anyone else, and to truly realize deep down that happiness and wholeness come from within, not from another person completing you. Trust that what's meant for you will be, and that this whole journey, even the separation part, is fundamentally a team effort for you and your twin, even when you're physically apart. You're both working towards growth.
So, wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you, the listener? Well, while twin flame separation can be, yes, a difficult and painful experience, it's also presented in these sources as potentially a gift.
A gift. That's a strong word for something so painful.
It is, but it's framed as a chance for growth and self-discovery, something that can lead to you feeling more open, expanded, wise, aware, and appreciative of the mysteries of life. It really reframes how we might think about failure or endings in relationships, doesn't it? It's not an end, maybe, but a transformation.
It really does. And this raises, I think, an important question for reflection as we close. The journey of any deep spiritual relationship, but especially a twin flame one, seems profoundly about self-discovery first, about achieving inner union, which then reflects outward. So the question for you is, what inner union are you cultivating today, right now? And how might nurturing that inner wholeness shape the spiritual connections you encounter next, regardless of whether they turn out to be temporary teachers or maybe lifelong mirrors?